Genesis chapter 22, possibly my favorite. And it came to pass after these things that God did tempt Abraham, that is, test, try, prove, and said unto him, Abraham. And he said, Behold, here I am. And he said, Take now thy son, thine only son Isaac, whom thou lovest, and get thee into the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which I will tell thee of. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, saddled his ass, or his donkey, and took 2 of his young men with him, and Isaac his son, and clave the wood for the burnt offering, and rose up, and went unto the place of which God had told him. Then on the 3rd day, interesting illusion there, on the 3rd day of traveling, he arrives at Moriah. On the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place afar off. Somehow he knew, maybe God gave him a picture in his mind, or gave him the word of where he was to go, or just gave him that calm assurance that this is the place. Verse 5, Abraham said unto his young men, Abide ye here with the donkey, stay here, and I and the lad will go yonder and worship, and come again to you. Who will go up, and who will come again? I and the lad. What is he planning to do up there? Why does he know that they will both come back? His faith has grown. His faith in the Lord is sure now. He understands what the Lord wants of him. And he's not afraid of what God asks him to do, because he knows God must fulfill his promise himself. No other way. And Abraham took the wood of the burnt offering and laid it upon Isaac his son, and he took the fire in his hand and a knife, and they went both of them together. And Isaac, still not sure what's going on, spoke unto Abraham his father and said, Father, here I am, my son, said Abraham. And Isaac continued, Behold, the fire, the wood, but where's the lamb for a burnt offering? And Abraham said, My son, God will provide himself a lamb for a burnt offering. So they went both of them together. We need to realize Isaac is about 37 years old at this time. He's not a small boy. It's been quite a while. We know this because in the following chapter, his mother, Sarah, dies, and the timing would be about 38 years old in the following chapter. So Isaac here, and as says the tradition of the elders of Israel, is not a little boy. He's a man. He could have easily debated, fought, but Isaac also surrendered, which is crucial. He understood his father's faith. Following his father's faith, he went forward. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And so God had told him about it. It wasn't this calm assurance. God told him, this is the place. Maybe he showed him a picture. I don't know. Maybe Abraham just knew the land well because he wasn't sitting still in a tent all the time. So God probably just said, I'm going to show you the land. It's Moriah that you need to go to, that mountain over there. And Abraham built an altar there, and he laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son. And they came to the place which God had told him of. And so, not an image necessarily, but following the word of the Lord. That's important. Abraham built an altar there and laid the wood in order and bound Isaac his son and laid him on the altar upon the wood. And Abraham stretched forth his hand and took the knife to slay his son. Very sure of what he's doing. Remember, he said, I and the lad will go and return. He knows what he's going to do, but he's confident that if he must do it, then the Lord must raise him up again. And the angel of the Lord called unto him out of heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham, stop, that's enough. And he said, here I am. And he said, lay not thine hand upon the lad, neither do thou anything unto him. For I now know that you fear God. God wasn't wondering, I wonder if Abraham trusts me. God wanted to prove Abraham, like it said in the beginning, to prove to Abraham Abraham's faith. He wanted Abraham to act out his own faith in God. And God wanted that his faith would be visible and actionable in the physical world, not just in his own heart, as he had grown through the other trials he had been through. This now is the ultimate point of Abraham's faith. Now I know that you fear God, seeing that you haven't even withheld your son, seeing that thou hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, from me. Only son. Yes. He had sent Ishmael away. He had considered him as no more, not a son any longer. He was the only son, as was intended to be. Again, our flesh causes problems. God's intent from the beginning was that Isaac be the only son, because this is the sign that God wants to give to the world, that he's promising to send his one and only son, that on the third day he would be raised up from offering his own son as a lamb that God himself would provide. Look at what happens. Abraham had told his son, God will provide himself a lamb. But what does God provide here? And Abraham lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, behind him a ram caught in a thicket by his thorns. And Abraham went and took the ram and offered him up for a burnt offering in the stead of his son. And this is the idea of a burnt offering. It's that offering is in our stead. It's in our place. But what did God provide? Did he provide a lamb? No, he provided a ram. Sometimes we think that we know exactly what God is going to do, and we see what God says in his word, and we know that he's going to do it, but then it comes out differently, and we don't understand why. But we need to realize that the why is waiting for later. God is not withholding his promise. He's actually fulfilling it to the fullest extent, providing to Abraham a substitute, but it's a ram, not a lamb. God would provide himself as the lamb that would take away in our stead the sins of the world. And that's why he provided Abraham a ram and not a lamb, so that we would not be confused. Don't worry. God knows what he's doing. Trust him. And if you have to go up on the mountain and sacrifice on the altar, lay down on the altar the thing most precious to you, know for certain that if it is God's promise, he will raise it up. He will raise him up. Makes me think of that song by Randy Travis. You gotta raise him up. You should look that one up. And verse 14, Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah, or Yahweh Jireh. That is, God sees, or it shall be seen in the future tense, Jireh. Yahweh Jireh, or Jehovah Jireh. As it is said to this day, in the mount of the Lord it shall be seen. And we tend to apply this to provision. And we need to understand that that's a testimony to us, that provision has to do with vision. God seeing ahead of time, when we refer to Jehovah Jireh as the God that will provide. But that's actually an inaccurate understanding of what the text is displaying of who God is here. It's that God sees your need and cares. That's it. He will provide. But he provides because he is love and he sees. Nothing more. Verse 15, and the angel of the Lord called unto Abraham out of heaven the second time and said, by myself I have sworn, saith the Lord, for because you have done this, because thou hast done this thing, and hast not withheld thy son, thine only son, that in blessing I will bless thee, and in multiplying I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand which is upon the seashore, and thy seed shall possess the gate of his enemies. And thy seed shall all the nations of the earth in thy seed. So singular, that's why this thy is important here, because it identifies that it's a singular tense. In thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. Now, I thought that Abraham already received the promise. Does he need to receive it again? God is confirming. There's a sense here that applies to soteriology, applies to our understanding of salvation, where we see the same thing that we see in the New Testament, that the Lord refers to us and our salvation as saved, like once and done, perfect tense. He also refers to it as being saved, as it's something that's a process happening right now, present tense. And then he also refers to it in the future, will be saved. And this is all referring to our eternal salvation, very much similar to what Abraham's experiencing here. Throughout Abraham's life, God gave him these moments of growing in faith, stretching his faith, proving his faith. And in each one, God reaffirms the promise that he had given to him originally when he called him. So yes, chosen, yes, called, and brought to the end, persevering through the difficulties, continuing in faithfulness till the end. Saved, promised, promising, and will receive the promise. All together with Abraham, confirmed. There's a necessity not to just receive salvation. There's a necessity to continue in salvation and to hope for that salvation that is yet to come in the totality of it. We see this here as well. Verse 18, and in your seed, in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice. 19, so Abraham returned unto his young men, and they rose up and went together to Beersheba, and Abraham dwelt at Beersheba. The young men, not surprised, Following on, Abraham said him and his son would go up on the mountain and come back. Faithfully, they stood there, waited. Maybe they knew, maybe they didn't. Abraham didn't make a big announcement necessarily to them. There they waited. It's good to be those young men that wait on the master to return after doing what he said he would do. Verse 20. And it came to pass after these things that it was told Abraham, saying, Behold, Milcah, she has also borne children unto thy brother Nahor. Huz, his firstborn, and Buz, his brother, and Kemuel, the father of Aram, and Chesed, and Hazo, and Pildash, and Yidlaf, and Betuel, and Betuel begot Rebekah. These 8 Milcah did bear to Nahor, Abraham's brother. And his concubine, whose name was Reumah, she bare also Teba, and Gaham, and Dahash, and Ma'acha. Fun names. So there's some more lineage from the ancestors of Abraham that could be traced out as well. Let's follow in the footsteps of Abraham. Walk in faith. Know that God has everything in control. Amen. God bless.